Hey, FC community, welcome everybody to another week. This has just been an absolutely phenomenal week for me. I hope it has been for you. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and that's always good, right? We always want things going on. We always want to be busy. Last week we were talking about how establishing ourselves in our purpose and our reason for being. And we were talking a little bit about the seed. And I'm just going to kind of recap on that. And then we'll get kind of into this week of what we're going to talk about. But first of all, my name is Josh Yoder, founder and president and CEO of Future Contributions Business Development. What we do here is just what it says. We develop businesses and we scale sales teams. We are passionate about changing people's lives, not just in the business industry, but in life in general. Because at the end of the day, if our lives aren't right, our businesses will not be right. And we will only grow to the extent, our business will only grow to the extent that we do. So if we want to see massive business growth, we need to see massive growth within us. And that brings me back to the seed analogy. So the analogy was a redwood tree seed can fit in the palm of your hand. But within that seed is every bit of the DNA and mapping that it needs in the blueprint to grow and flourish to be one of the biggest trees in history, one of the biggest trees in the world. Everything is within that seed. However, if I took that redwood seed and I would put it into this drawer and just shove it away and leave it there, example, they found some seeds from the Egyptian era. This just happened in the last decade. They found those seeds that were close to 2,000 years old, and they planted them, and they still grew. See, all your potential and everything that's held up is all within us. It's all within you. But you can keep yourself hidden away in a drawer for as long as you want to. The only difference from a seed that turns into a tree and a seed that doesn't is the condition of its soil or of its position. So we need to put ourselves into a position and in soil that will break us down. And then through that breakdown process and through that death and decay of the outer shell, the inner seed can release what it truly is, and the soil combined will nitro fuel the growth, and we will break forth out of the ground, out of that struggle, and the true us will flourish. That true us, that redwood tree, which was a redwood tree all along. Truly, when is a redwood tree? When it's fully grown? When it's half grown? No, they're going to say, look, this is a redwood tree. Doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter where you are at. It matters where you're going. I'm the same. My name is the same. My potential was the same from birth till now. It's just I have chosen and choose every day to continue to go after that potential and to hone it in and to seek out what is capable of me. And there's so many others that inspire me. It's like, how do they do that? I'm sure you guys have the same. Think of somebody right now that really inspires you, that you're like, wow, that's absolutely amazing. How do they do that? And how's that even humanly possible? Well, if we really look at those people, they're just human beings like us. They just got really serious about what their convictions, about what their truth is, and they got really set on the breakdown process, and they weren't scared to be torn down. When that seed is being torn down and stripped apart, that's an uncomfortable process. Anything that's coming through on the other side of success must go through a dying period, and that's dying to selfish desires. Just, go out late, stay up late, go out with their friends and do all these great stuff. And all those things are great within its place. But if we're on the couch every single night, eating, potato chips and watching TV series till late into the morning, and then we're just going to do average, we're going to just be average. If you're having average results, it's because you're doing average work. If you want to be above average, you have to do above average work. So we got to put ourselves into the right soil. And that means putting ourselves around the right people in the right environments. And if you're not in the right environment, if you're not seeing that seed flourish, now don't mistake time and right soil. You could be in the right soil in the right season at the right time, and it could feel like, what is going on? Why isn't anything happening in my life? Why am I not moving along further than I am now? But you're in the right place, but you have to let time do its work. Trees don't grow overnight. There is a bamboo shoot. It will grow. There's a particular one, I forget what they call it. It grows for 2 years actually underground. And it does not sprout out of the ground for 2 years. But once it breaks ground, it grows a foot a day. Don't ever underestimate what's happening underneath the surface within you. Sometimes, you're going to go along, and once you're doing all the right things, at least it happened for me, I'll just go through, and all of a sudden success seems just to be a little easier than it used to be, because it's constantly pushing against the weight and putting in the work. You don't have to worry about your result as long as you're putting in the time and putting in the work. Again, we said last week, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you're permanently practicing excellence, perfection will be the result or the attaining illusion. Again, we talked about it before, that perfection is the enemy of excellence. Don't get so caught up in have to have everything perfect before you start something. Pursue excellence and then pursue perfection. So today, what I really want to get into and talk about is selling yourself on you first. Selling yourself on you first. Us entrepreneurs and salespeople and everybody that's on here, you're on here for a reason. It's because you want to be inspired. You have some weak points, just like I do in our lives and our businesses and as salespeople and marketing and leadership. And we want to better further grow ourselves, our mindset, and change those differences. So today, we really want to dive in and talk about selling you on yourself first. Before the customer can ever buy anything from you, you must be sold on you first. As a human being, look yourself in the mirror and like what you see. If you're consistently looking in the mirror and you're not liking what you're seeing, you need to change the image that you view yourself in. There very well may be some areas in our lives that we can change. And everybody, again, we have areas in our lives we could change, right? However, long as we're pursuing that change in our life, we need to look at that and not criticize that, but be the best cheerleader of ourselves in our own lives. So when we look in the mirror, just because we have something going wrong doesn't mean that's not our identity. Your mistake isn't who you are. It's what happened. What you're going through does not define your identity. Your identity is you're amazing. You're excellent. You're loved. You are a good business person. You are a good salesperson. You're just going through a hard streak right now, or you're going through a hard time in business, or you're being challenged. And again, we must go through that to break down the outer shell of our potential. As long as we're in the right soil and you know that and you're in the right place, struggle is actually a blessing. We want to be pushing ourselves. I don't go to the gym not to push myself. I don't go to the gym just to sit there on my phone and do occasional work, and the second the muscle starts burning, just stop. No, that's when we push harder, because we want to push ourselves past of what we're capable of now to grow that inner muscle of a salesperson as a leader within us. And that can only be met with resistance. And resistance is welcomed in the world of success. So we must align ourselves with our core beliefs first. We must align ourselves with our core beliefs first. Are we doing things in our life that is contrary to what we truly believe? Number one, we need to have those core beliefs rooted down deep within us to know exactly what they are. And if we don't know what those are, we need to find out what we believe and be true to that. We must pursue truth. The truth in a spiritual law will set you free, as well as a physical law. we must pursue truth in our life, and we must be honest with our convictions and obligations, and we must serve those to the highest degree that is possible. And if we can't do that first, we cannot sit down at the negotiation table. My gosh, if I can say that tonight, negotiation table, and look the customer in the eye and ask them to buy. If we're not true to ourselves, we will struggle. You know, the term fake it till you make it. The problem with that whole terminology is it's an up and down road. I've seen a lot of salespeople I have coached. I've seen in my own life. When I waver on my beliefs and my convictions, my sales game, my businesses suffer. Because again, your business will grow to the extent that you do. So we can, although we're having massive growth in a season of our life, that can quickly go around if we're not continually to apply and get nutrients. You know, that redwood tree, as it's growing, must continually to spread its roots down. As big as it's growing up, it's growing down. If you want to know the size of a root of a tree, look at the height of the tree. That's the depth of its roots, not just down, but also across. So as we grow up, we must grow deeper. We must go deeper. We must struggle greater and learn to fall in love with struggle. Again, a mindset. Man, I had a hard day. Oh my gosh, those customers were horrible. Those were bad leads. What is going on? Nobody wants to do business. Business is not good in 2024. Well, guess what? There's other people in the same exact industry, the same exact business that you're doing with the same exact size, and everything is similar and having a different experience. It's because their mindset is different, which allows them to attract things into their life that would be on a greater level of excellence. And they're not standing in their own way. Again, they're sold on themselves. Nobody that is succeeding looks in the mirror and hates what they see. Anybody who is failing consistently in life and making excuses does not like what they see in the mirror. It's a fact. And so that's when we say, fake it till you make it. No, let's make it while we make it, right? Let's be true. Let's be honest. And let's be to our true core beliefs. So if you don't have those, write those down. If you don't, well, I should say it another way. If you have them, write them down. If you don't, we need to figure out what that is. And only you can find that for yourself. You know, sales, getting into more of the sales talk today and selling on you sell first. Sales is more of taking away what is not a part of you rather than adding to you. I'm going to say it again. Sales is more of taking away that's not a part of you than adding to you. And I say it all the time that salespeople are not born. Salespeople are made. I think his name was Da Vinci, or some famous sculptor who sculpted the statue of David, the original statue of David. And he was asked that's amazing that you were able to make that out of that stone. And he said, I didn't make anything. I just took away what didn't belong. You know, when I heard that story, it really stuck with me. And it really is true to the core of success and the core of every person. You know, there's greatness within everybody. Nobody is born a failure, not one person. Everybody has the same opportunities in different ways to be excellent. You know, we all were born with the ability to breathe. Every one of us here that are in business and succeeding, we all were born with the same ability to pursue excellence. Some of us have greater advantages than others, but you can see some people who have great advantages over somebody else will do mediocre, and that person who struggled all through their childhood and nothing was ever handed to them just became very successful and dwarfed the guy that had everything going for him. So it's not about your position. You can only make that excuse for so long. And if you fall on that sword, it'll eventually kill you. So rising from that and realizing that, hey, I had a hard day today. It's been a hard month in business. Just customer complaint after customer complaint. I have no idea how that would be, or what that's like. But no, I'm just kidding. It's a daily grind, especially as business owners. Just have that streak of like bad customers. It seems like, as far as complaining. And again, I should rephrase that. There is no bad customer. It's just there's bad management of customers. Therefore, they get angry because you manage them incorrectly. Again, taking personal responsibility. If somebody's upset, what did I do? What could have I changed different? My process somewhere is broken. How can I change that? It's not the customer's fault. It's my fault. But you go through those streaks, and sometimes if you go through them long enough and you don't see success and you only see failure, it can get really hard, and you could start to see yourself as, I got to start putting on success. I got to start putting on something different and this and that. But it's not about putting something on. It's about taking something off. If you are grabbing onto fear with both hands and you are terrified, fear's over here on the left and success is over here on the right, and they're both calling out to you, and you reach from fear and you grab to success, and they're pulling you apart, you cannot truly go towards success without letting go of fear. So we must, within us, let go of what's holding us back. And a lot of times it's lies of limited belief in ourselves. And by the time that we're 6 years old, we have fully become custom and been formed and molded into what people around us have told us we are. We don't have a self-opinion of ourselves yet. It's all been told this is who you are, right? Then from 6 to 10, we start to figure some things out. Then going from like 10, especially the 20, we really start figuring out who we are and how life really is. And like, oh, that was a bunch of crap. That's not true at all. And we find ourselves, for say. So as we go through those periods, as we get older, sometimes we just stop finding ourselves because we get to some areas that get pretty deep and get kind of scary. And it's almost like sometimes it's easier to hold on to what we know is pain than to go into something that could be new and stretching us. Even though we hate where we're at, we're scared to move forward because it almost becomes, pain is almost a comfort to our failure. But every one of us has greatness. We just need to put off what doesn't belong and allow to come out of us what already is. What brings me to my next point here is PTM. PTM. I was in Miami this weekend for a business summit, and me and my wife were just sitting on the balcony overlooking the ocean, just having a great time. And the term really just came to me, PTM, and it's nothing new. It's just putting this all together. And it's something that me and my wife do every single year. And it's personal time management. Personal time management, PTM. What we do every single year in our personal life is we look a year out, and every day of that calendar, what's important to us. We put down our date nights once a week. We put down, for us, church is important to us. We put down that on Sundays, this is where we're going to be at. We are going to have family time and family date nights and family activities. We will put all those into the calendar. I put my study time in there. I put my workout times in there. I put my mentor meetings in there. I will put my quarterly reflections in there. Every quarter, I will take a half a day and set time away and reflect on my goals and see where I'm at every quarter of how close I am to achieving that. And just taking that half a day just to sit away and reflect. All that stuff is in our calendar. So what happens is now as the year goes around, I am already have put on the calendar what's important, and everything else that comes in is added in on top of what's important. So I'm not having to make room for what's important. I already made what's important that important, and I schedule around it. So PTM, personal time management. At the end of the day, when you get your time right, people will take you seriously. You need to be on time. When you say you're going to do something, you need to deliver. You need to do it. Or if you can't, you need to communicate. This right here, as salespeople and as entrepreneurs and business owners, this is, I feel, of what I see in myself that can be a challenge because we get so busy. We can soon commit to a lot more than what we can actually handle. And we're pulled so many different directions. It's amazing to me that we all only have 24 hours in a day, right? So how do more people get more things done? PTM, personal time management. So as we get better at that, that's great to a certain degree. But what happens when you start running multiple businesses? You have this business, you have that business. You can't be everywhere at once. Well, you have to get really good at delegating and duplicating yourself into others. You need the transfer of what you've learned in you and also know what you're not good at, but having a sixth sense of business of who those leaders are and what they're capable of doing and filling those areas where you are weak. It's important that we don't focus on building our weaknesses. Yeah, I'm going to say this. A lot of people disagree, but if you talk to a lot of successful people, they'll tell you the same thing. And it's proven true in my life, is especially in business and entrepreneurship, it's not just about being the best at everything and having to know it all. You just need to know people who do know it all. Ford Motor Company, Mr. Ford said at one point, I am not the smartest person in the room. My success is surrounding myself with the smartest people in the room. So this is not a pride challenge. This is not a pride game. If you have a bunch of pride of having to know everything and be the best, being and knowing everything and a know-it-all and not being able to learn anything, then this definitely won't work for you. But if you are, you can delegate those weaknesses and duplicate your strength into others and work on your strength and develop your strength to be the best talent in the area of your calling and of your purpose, rather than why would I, if I was really good at sales, really try to master accounting? Wouldn't make a lot of sense, right? But people do that in business. They try to wear all the hats and become good at everything and know all the ins and outs of everything. That's when you get left behind. So if we can learn to do personal time management, PTM, we can scale ourselves. And those 24 hours in a day, now we have 24 people that are working along beside us. Now we don't just have 24 hours in a day. What is 24 times 24? I don't know off the top of my head because I'm on a math whiz, because that's my weakness and I don't have to work on that. That's how much time in a day you have. You can duplicate yourself. If you just have two people, now you want from 24, and then you duplicate yourself into another. Now you have that many more hours in a day. So when certainty exceeds doubt, people will buy your certainty. When certainty exceeds doubt, people will buy your certainty. You ever have, when you get a salesperson and you are the salesperson and the customer in front of you, and you're getting down to the deal, and you could just feel inside of you as you're talking, for some reason, you just feel the customer is uncertain about your certainty, and you're uncertain about your certainty, and it just snowballs, and you just feel that little butterfly in your stomach of, man, I am blowing this deal. Although you've done everything right, and you really do believe in your product, and you believe in yourself, you believe in the company, and you believe in the product, you still feel like you're faltering. And the customer at the end, they can feel you're questioning, they're questioning, and the deal doesn't close. It's because people at the end of the day, I'll say it like this, people today often lack deep conviction, but when they meet someone with true unwavering belief and sincerity, they are naturally drawn to and trust that energy. People today often lack deep conviction. People today don't really believe in anything. They also don't know themselves very well. They know TV shows way better than know themselves. So when they meet somebody who is certain, when they can look you in the eye and see that certainty, and they can see that you have true belief and you are grounded and rooted and you are happy in your own skin, and not just happy, but full of joy in it, they will not just buy your product. No, that's not what's going to sell. They're going to buy your energy. And once they buy into your energy, you can sell them whatever you want to. And that's what I have gotten really good at in recognizing. It's not just about process. They need to meet you before you even show them process, before you go through your process. So let them meet you before you go through your sales processes. But you must be sold on yourself first. So when they look you in the eye, they see conviction, they see sincerity, and they will buy your energy and transfer to them your product. Your conviction is a key asset in business. Mastering time management aligns your attraction with your belief, showing others you stay behind what you say. It shows others you stand behind what you say. Everybody wants to know that what you say, you're going to follow up on. You know, how you do with anything is how you do with everything. How you do with anything is how you do with everything. So if you compromise in one small area, what's to say that you're not going to compromise in the bigger areas? Especially for me in my life, I run a very rigid schedule. I'm very, very hard on myself. I put a lot of guards and blocks around me and make sure that I don't have any spare time. I don't want spare time. You know, I'd rather, I like watching a good movie or things like that. That's what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I'm not going to have anything to do. I always have times blocked off. I always have things that I have planned out before me so that there is no compromise. I want to make sure that there's no compromise, no matter how big, no matter how small, because if you start compromising on something small, it will lead to something much bigger. And then, you know, your target must be bigger than your problems. Your targets must be bigger than your problems. If you're constantly falling on the weights of your issues and your problems, you might have big enough targets, but you're not viewing them. I'll use this analogy and then we'll close out for this awesome Wednesday, that when you're climbing Mount Everest, there's different camps all up along the way. And those camps all up along the way have different bases. You know, in the journey of life, we're climbing a mountain and we're all at different camps. We're all at different levels in life. We're all going for the peak. But guess what? Perfection is the peak and nobody's ever been there, though we pursue it. However, while pursuing the peak, whether you're just starting your climb or you're in the middle or close to the top, I don't care where you're at, you can live at the peak in your mind. Your mind will guide you to where you need to go. If your limiting belief says that I'm only good enough to get halfway up the mountain and this is a good enough view for me, guess what? That's a good enough view for you. That's all you're ever going to achieve. So you need to increase your ability to believe. You must increase your faith. You must increase yourself. And the only way you can do that is by surrounding yourself with people greater than yourself. Putting yourselves in situations that are bigger than you so you can stretch yourself to fill that situation. But don't stay in that situation once you've filled it. Move to a bigger box. Move to a bigger situation and stretch yourself out even further. So live at the top of the mountain in your mindset. And I'm going to end with this because I promised Greg Law that I would say this. Greg Law said this today and it was really awesome. He said, it is what it is, but you can always change the is. It is what it is. Oh, I can't do anything about it, but you can always change the is. So let's do that this week. No excuses. Let's be great. And guys, I'm going to put down right now in the chat of our products. So I want to just show right now the 7-Figure Ignite program. Everything that I'm teaching is all going to be in this program. We have the Kickstarter program. So if you have a business and you don't have a business and want to start one, we got bankers, CPAs, trademark attorneys, all within these programs at your fingertips. We give you the personal phone numbers, not the 1-800s. You go directly to them and they can help you start your business. Or if you have a business and want to grow, they can help you there as well. In this, we have sales program, a complete sales program training with tests and workshops and activities, as well as a marketing and leadership programs. All this is put together in the 7-figure Ignite package to make it most affordable for you guys so you can get the max result. And then also, I'm going to highlight as well, if you guys have any businesses and you're wanting in-person coaching, we do in-person coaching. We've just started to do that as in the last couple year or so, year and a half. We will come into your place of business and we would train your sales teams. This is on a bigger scale, but we will come in every single week. We'll customize plans and sales strategies for you and take you from good to great. Thank you so much for your time today. I value every single one of you. I'm rooting for you. Let's push forward.